Hi, here I am in a lovely coffee shop this morning, having had a delicious chai latte. It's my favourite place to come for chai latte. And my car's in the garage, see, so I'm sitting here waiting for that to be ready. Who knows, maybe a phone call actually while I'm doing this video to say that it's time to collect. But I thought I'd jump on and share something that's had a really big impact in my wild fig community. So I thought I'd share it with you to see if this helps you see some patterns in your life, help you see some sort of reframe, but not in like a positive, like cover up way. Reframe as in really, in fact, not even reframe. It's really seeing clearly what's going on rather than imagining it's something else. That's really what it is. And it's something that I've not talked about very much in the world. So I guess I'm coming on to share about this because I know that in talking about it and talking about it more often, I will improve. I will get different ideas of how to talk about it. You guys might reply with comments or thoughts, which will help shape that as well. So I really, truly value if you do that for me with this video. Yeah, let's see what we can create that makes this message clearer and clearer and clearer, because I see it's something that we all do. We all have this experience, whether we're aware of it or not. Even if it looks like we're really successful, even if it looks like we're doing really well, there's often the same pattern playing out with that. But yeah, the most obvious is when things look like they're rubbish, when things look like they're going how we don't think they should go. So let me talk about this, which in the community we've talked about as being comfortably uncomfortable, the comfortable discomfort. And it's basically to recognize how when we're in a pattern of repeating limitations, repeating unhelpful beliefs, repeating some form of threat response, repeating some form of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, and we know it feels rubbish. We know that when we're in that contracted state and we're feeling so small and limited and rubbish, we know how awful that feels. We know how reactive we can get in that state. We know how sometimes it causes us to shrink and hold back and not be fully ourselves, and yet it keeps happening. And something that has become really clear is that part of what keeps that happening is that it's comfortable in some way, because it's familiar, because we're able to say, I'm right. We love to be right. When we're identified with a human mind, at least, we love to be right, because we think being right equals being safe. Not really surprising. We were pretty much conditioned in childhood that to be right in school or with our parents got us a big tick and a pat on the back, perhaps even a hug. And so we very early on came to associate being right with being safe, with being good, with being loved, with being included, with belonging, with being acceptable. So it's really, truly understandable that we've come to attach to this need to be right. But what we've then done is transfer that need to be right to so many experiences which aren't actually helping us. So if, for example, one of mine was, I have to be right, in fact, I have to get things right, I have to not be a failure, I have to not be wrong, therefore I have to be good, I have to be right, I have to succeed, I have to get things right, I have to do things perfectly. And that led to a lot of suffering, because it led to me working too hard, it led to me putting pressure on myself, it led to me controlling, it led to me reacting if there was anything that looked like it might suggest I wasn't being right or good or successful. And so instantly it created a really unhealthy dynamic in me, and therefore an unhealthy dynamic in relationships. And my lifetime's work seems to have been to unravel that pattern layer after layer after layer, increasingly opening to a healthier relationship with myself and a healthier relationship with others around me. But for someone else, it might be a pattern of not speaking up. You know, if I say something, then I might be deemed as wrong. So I'm going to just keep quiet. I'm going to hold back. I think if I say something, I'll be in trouble. So I'm going to hold back and I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to speak up. I'm not going to share my true perspective because I think I'll be in trouble if I do that. I think I'll be told I'm wrong if I do that. It could be a pattern around not having, whether that's things or money or relationships, and seeing this pattern over and over again of every time there's a chance of having something, then I sabotage it. I cause it to go away. I push it away. I don't even accept it, perhaps, in the first place. All of these experiences creating a level of suffering, but all of which are being held onto because it maintains the idea that I am right about my wrongness. I am right about my not good enoughness. I am right about my not worth listening to-ness. I am right about my not deservingness. And when we attach more strongly to being right than being free, we stay in a repeating pattern of this comfortable discomfort. Because at least I know I'm right. Oh, well, of course, and like that, it always goes like that. Well, of course, that happened to me. That always happens to me. Oh, I knew it was going to be like that. It always goes like that for me. This is always how it happens. I always screw it up. I always don't speak up. I always work too hard. I always push people away. I never get, I never receive. I never get the nice experience. And we're usually more attached to being right about that stuff than in being free. And therefore the loop keeps happening again and again and again. And we continue to suffer again and again and again. Perhaps with different characters in the scene, perhaps with some different surface circumstances, but fundamentally it's the same pattern playing out again and again and again. So that in theory, at some point, something in us says no. Something in us says, I am done with this repeating pattern. I would much rather be free than keep being right about this. I would much rather live in true comfort, the comfort of actual comfort, rather than the comfort of this familiar discomfort, rather than the false comfort of this familiar suffering. And it's this shift in us that has us start to break that pattern, to break that suffering, to break that dynamic within us. When we start to care about true comfort, the true comfort of being ourselves, rather than the comfortable discomfort of the pattern we've collected and we've kept repeating over and over and over again. Yeah, so I don't think there's anything else to say on that right now. I would love to hear what this lands for you. I'd love you to recognize for yourself where you can instantly see there's a pattern of comfortable discomfort that you keep playing again and again and again. Most likely, subconsciously, it most likely happens and you're like, oh, bloody hell, there's that thing again. It's not as if you're going around consciously choosing this. It's that which is hidden and unseen, which is the driving force behind all of this. So there's no blame in it. There's no need for any shame or guilt. Notice if that, in fact, is coming up, because that's part of what layers over to try and stop you going into this stuff. There's no person in this. There's nobody who chose this. There's nobody who's responsible for this. It's what happens in a human system. And it's only when we, who we really are, starts to wake back up to ourselves and starts going, hang on, no, this isn't me. This isn't how I am. This isn't the truth of who I am. My natural state is actual comfort, actual comfortable comfort, actual ease, actual relaxation, actual feelings of relief, like a permanent state of, oh, this feels so good. So notice the obvious places for you where this loop is happening again and again and again, and feels in some ways comfortable because it's so familiar, and because it gets you to be able to say, I'm right. Look, there it is again. Oh, I knew this. Of course that was going to happen. Perhaps through this video, you'll start to notice places where it's more subtle, where previously it's been hidden. Perhaps you've seen the big, obvious examples of it. But perhaps now this video will start to prompt you to notice where are the little places where there's that comfortable discomfort, where you're staying in a dynamic within yourself and with others that in some way feels safe because it's familiar, because you get to say you're right. And if there's anything that doesn't make sense in this, or if there's anything, just anything that comes up for you from this, I would love you to share that in the comments, because through that exchange, it helps me check how I'm sharing it to see if I can share it in a more coherent or clear way. It might also help shape new metaphors or analogies, or bring new examples forward that help it go, oh my God, yes, I see that. Because the first step must always be seeing the thing. And then there are a myriad of ways to support ourselves, to loosen and lighten that pattern, to return to freedom instead of rightness, to return to the genuine comfort of ourselves, rather than the comfortable discomfort of that pattern. But we must first of all have taken that step to go, oh my God, yes, there's that pattern. I see it. And now that I've seen it, no, I don't want it anymore. Then the world opens up. Then your possibilities open up in terms of what you can do now to shift that, to loosen that, to lighten that, to clear that from your system completely, so that you get to live as the freedom that you are, as the ease that you are, as the fluidity that you are, with the possibility of doing things brilliantly and getting things wrong and being totally cool with all of it. The fluidity of being able to speak up or not speak up and being totally cool with all of it. Because sometimes one is the thing that happens and sometimes it's the other. Not because there's right and wrong, just because that's what's called for in the moment. That freedom, that fluidity, that flow, that genuine movement, with this being the thing for life as it is right now. And then the next moment it's something else, and the next moment it's something else. That's what we truly want. That comfort of being ourselves every single moment, savoring freedom over rightness. So yeah, so I think that's all there is to say about that. And if you're curious about the myriad of ways to help resolve, clear, loosen, lighten these patterns, I have so many ways. I have engaged in so many ways for myself. I have practiced so many ways for my clients. I have presented so many ways in the Enlightenment Event, bringing in other experts, other practitioners. It's like been my life's journey to collect an eclectic mix of ways, so that I am then in the strongest position to say, here's some stuff, here's some options. Come choose. There's a whole pick and mix of possibilities out here. What's right for you right now? Freedom of your choice right now, for whatever your pattern is, for whatever you want to loosen or lighten or clear. So yeah, please do get in touch if it's something you want to talk more about. I'll pop my link in the description for setting up a discovery call if it feels like it needs a conversation rather than just comments in here or emails. I would love to help point you into a world of genuine comfort instead of continuing to suffer in the repeating patterns of comfortable discomfort. I really truly look forward to hearing from you and engaging with you on this. So see you in the comments. Lots of love.